So welcome back to another Modular Monday. Been on holiday for a few days. I've been a good boy. I've limited my amount of website dabbling. I've not made any vlogs. I've not tweeted too much. I've put a couple of Instagrams up of castles. I've had a chance to really think about things, but I'm going to get somewhere where there's not a scary stallion looking at me. He's got creepy eyes. Thanks so much for all of your brilliant contributions to the last one linked above, which really was my kind of preposterous guide to outboard equipment. This segment, Modular Mondays, is not necessarily about modular synths and isn't always on a Monday, but it's really about us getting out of the box and trying to find a place free from the influence of computers, desktops, folders, these clerical devices at their heart, to create music that's truly human. I've been doing a lot of thinking whilst I've been up here on holiday about what it is for me that makes out of the box just better. But first, Sandy.
Hey Christian. So this week my modular has sort of turned into a box of modules because the box itself, the wooden box that is back in Connecticut. Now this is because the other night I took a trip down to Connecticut on the train to my buddy Brian's wood shop, which you might have seen in a previous video. And you can see the box is not stained on the outside and the edges are a little bit untidy, just where the pieces, the planks meet. So first we took a plane and evened off those edges, and you can see they look all nice and tidy now. And then we laid out some newspaper, got our dark walnut stain out, and I'm just going to speed this up because it's not the most exciting thing to watch, but I think it's quite satisfying to watch. We basically just stained the box up. I was really excited to see how this would turn out because it's like a 100-year-old white oak, and it had a really interesting kind of figuring and grain going on in the wood. Some of the really nice things is where the end grain meets on the sides. The stain is much, much darker, which I think looks really cool. And don't worry if you're concerned about that dribbling bit of stain in the foreground. We did catch that and some others. So this is the finished product now. Once it gets in focus, you'll see the grain came out really nicely. This is what it looks like just in a photograph as well. Now I'm really chuffed with that. So it's back in Ridgefield at the moment whilst the stain dries. And of course, the moment that I don't have a case and my whole Eurorack system is in complete disarray, I've got something really interesting and exciting in the post. This is the Ataraxic Iteratas from Noise Engineering, which is the latest edition. It's going to go in the case the moment it gets back. This is like a really gnarly oscillator that uses the same basic voice as the probably more well-known Basimilus Iteratus altar from Noise Engineering. There's a really cool video on that from various people like Mylar Melodies and DivKid. The next video that I'll be making will probably feature this quite heavily. We'll take a bit of a deep dive into what this sounds like, what it can do, as well as some of the suggestions from the user manual. I love when Eurorack manufacturers put some suggested patches in there. Just gets you off to a flying start with the module. And then what I'd like to do is with this and a couple of the other sound sources is take a look at the Analog 4. One of the other ways of taking audio into it is basically to, instead of just taking the audio in and firing it through the effects, I'd like to try taking the audio in and making it a source for the oscillator. So replacing the square or the sawtooth signal in the Analog 4 signal path with the audio from the Eurorack from something like this, firing it through all the filter and overdrive and everything else and sequencing it there. So next up, it'll be getting this thing in and seeing what it can do. Anyway, back to you for now, Christian.
Thanks, as always, Sandy, for your very spirited contributions to this out-of-the-box adventure, and what a box you've created there. Right, bit of a chapter marker here, so probably time to head that way back to Edinburgh. And don't worry, not chucking in the towel, even though this does tie in with the title of the movie, which was a bit clickbaity. Sorry for that. No, my box is going to a very noble cause. This Ross Lamond case has served me well. He unfortunately doesn't make them anymore, so I've got something pretty special coming up from Portugal. Hopefully you'll be able to see it next week. Yes, my modular midlife crisis continues unabated. I'd really be interested to hear about your unbox stories, whether it be missing things that we used to do in the past with 2-inch tapes, or those horrific ADAT recorders, or indeed if you've recently stepped out of the box for the first time, a guitar pedal, a piece of modular kit, and an analog synth. Why have you eschewed the controlled order of a clerical computer in favour of the relative chaos and chaotic cost of outboard? Thanks as always for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If you want to be notified the next time I put a film up, ding that bell, and one of those, Sandy and I, we always appreciate them. See you next time. Bye-bye.